The air in Charlotte, North Carolina, was thick with the scent of magnolias that humid July evening. But inside the sleek, modern home of Abigail Harper, the atmosphere was suffocating. Abigail, 38, a marketing professor at UNC Charlotte, sat at her glass dining table, her laptop open to a half-finished lecture slide. To the world, she and her husband, Nathan Brooks, 40, were the epitome of success, a charming craftsman-style house in Dilworth, thriving careers, and Instagram-worthy vacations to Napa Valley. But beneath the polished veneer, Abigail had felt the tremors of doubt for years, late nights at Nathan's tech startup, cryptic texts dismissed as work, the faint whiff of jasmine perfume on his collar. She'd buried those suspicions, clinging to the life they'd built over 15 years. Tonight, though, the truth would claw its way out. A soft ding pierced the quiet. Nathan's phone, left on the kitchen counter while he showered upstairs, lit up. Abigail wasn't the snooping type. Trust was her anchor. Even as it frayed, but something primal, a gut punch of intuition, pulled her to her feet. The notification was stark. Reservation confirmed for 2 at the Fig Tree. Saturday, 8 p.m. window table. As requested. She'll love the view. The Fig Tree was Charlotte's crown jewel, a restaurant they'd planned to visit for their 10th anniversary, only for Nathan to cancel for a client meeting. Abigail's pulse quickened, her fingers, trembling, typed his passcode, their son's birthday. A code unchanged since their early days. The screen unlocked, and her world collapsed. Messages, photos, plans. A year-long affair with Lauren Mitchell, a 29-year-old graphic designer at Nathan's company. Their chats were intimate, constant, morning coffee preferences. Her laugh at his jokes. A selfie from a conference in Asheville. Lauren's blonde curls spilling over Nathan's shoulder as he grinned. A stranger to the man who'd promised Abigail forever under a Carolina oak. Her chest tightened, the room spinning, a metallic hum drowning out the shower's hum. She wanted to scream, to shatter the phone against the wall. But her body froze, gripping the edge of the counter. Hey, babe, where's my gray tie? Nathan's voice floated down, casual, oblivious. Abigail's breath caught. She placed the phone back, exactly as it was, her voice steady despite the storm inside. Top drawer, left side. She called back. That night, she lay beside him, her back to his steady snores mocking her racing heart. How many times had she excused his distance as startup stress? How often had she ignored the lipstick smudge on his cuff? The 2 crisp shirts? Now, every doubt was a neon sign she'd been too afraid to read. By morning, Abigail was no longer the naive wife. She kissed Nathan goodbye, her lips brushing his cheek as she said, "Nail that pitch today." He smiled, unaware she'd seen his plans for a candlelit dinner with Lauren. As the door clicked shut, she called her department chair, requesting a 3-day leave. She didn't need to cry, she needed to strategize. For 15 years, she'd been the perfect partner. But now, she'd become someone new, sharp, calculated, unstoppable. At her desk, Abigail accessed Nathan's email, his meticulous calendar betraying him. 8 p.m. The Fig Tree, window table, Pinot Noir pre-ordered. She searched Lauren's name in his company directory, Lauren Mitchell. Creative team. A quick LinkedIn dive led to her husband, Ryan Carter, 32. A landscape architect with a kind smile and tired eyes. Abigail didn't know Ryan, but she knew betrayal's sting. He deserved the truth, but she wouldn't just call and blurt it out. No, she'd orchestrate a reveal as elegant as it was devastating. As a professor, Abigail often invited guest speakers. She crafted an email. "Dear Mr. Carter, I'm Abigail Harper, a marketing professor at UNC Charlotte. We're hosting a seminar on sustainable design, and your work on the Freedom Park redesign caught our eye. I'd love to discuss you speaking at our event over dinner this Saturday, 8 p.m. at the Fig Tree. Looking forward to meeting you." She hit send, her heart pounding. Ryan replied within hours, "Ms. Harper, I'm honored. Saturday at 8 o'clock works perfectly. See you there." Next, she called the Fig Tree. "I'd like a table for 2. Near the window," she said, her voice calm. "If possible, close to the reservation under Brooks, business partners. You see, the host agreed, promising a table steps away. Abigail hung up, a strange calm settling over her. The stage was set. Nathan thought her soft, predictable. Saturday would prove him wrong. She arrived at the fig tree 15 minutes early. Her auburn hair swept into a low chignon. Wearing a sapphire dress Nathan once called too bold. Her heels clicked with purpose. Not to impress, but to command. The host led her to a table with a perfect view of Nathan's reserved spot. She ordered a gin martini. Her nerves electric, no matter how much she'd planned. The moment of truth loomed like a storm. Abigail Harper? A warm voice interrupted. Ryan Carter stood before her. Tall, in a navy blazer. His smile genuine but weary. Ryan, thank you for coming, she said, shaking his hand. They eased into small talk. Urban greenery. Academia. Charlotte's growth. Abigail nodded, but her eyes flicked to the entrance. Then, they arrived. Nathan, in the jacket she'd bought him for Christmas, held the door for Lauren. Radiant in emerald silk. They laughed, his hand grazing her back as he pulled out her chair. Abigail's grip tightened on her glass. But her voice stayed even as she spoke to Ryan. Nathan poured wine, his fingers brushing Lauren's wrist. Then, their eyes met. Nathan froze, his glass tilting. Lauren followed his gaze, her face paling. Abigail turned to Ryan. Excuse me, I need the restroom, she said softly. In the hallway, she, accidentally, bumped into Lauren. You're Abigail, aren't you? Lauren whispered, eyes wide. And you're the one holding my husband's hand while your husband sits 10 feet away. Abigail replied, her tone icy but composed. Please, not here, Lauren begged. Why not? Candlelight, wine, perfect for the truth. Don't you think? Ryan deserves to know who his wife's dining with. Nathan appeared, his face ashen. Abigail, what are you doing here? Before he could say more, she called, Ryan, could you join us? Ryan approached, confusion etching his features. Ryan, this is my husband, Nathan, Abigail said, her voice steady. And I believe you know Lauren. Your wife. The restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Lauren's hand flew to her mouth. Tears brimming. Nathan stepped back, silent. Abigail turned to the host. We'll need a private room. And please merge our tables with Mr. Brooks's. The host nodded, ushering them to a secluded space. Inside, the four sat, the air heavy. Nathan spoke first, voice shaky. Abigail, I don't know where to begin. Begin 3 days ago, she said, pouring water. When I saw your reservation on your phone, I read everything. Nathan, every text, every photo, every lie. Lauren whispered, I'm sorry. Abigail turned to Ryan. They're our spouses. We deserve the truth. Face to face. Ryan's eyes locked on Lauren. Was it a mistake? Or were you finding yourself in another man's arms? Lauren sobbed. It was a fling. I felt ignored at home. Ryan's voice trembled. I redesigned your studio because you said it inspired you. I believed you. Nathan reached for Abigail. I destroyed everything. But please, don't end us. She smiled. Cold. The end began when you looked at Lauren the way you once looked at me. You chose to break our vows. She slid a hotel key across the table. I'm at the Omni tonight. I'll be home Monday. You shouldn't be. Nathan pleaded. But she stood, turning to Ryan. I'm sorry you learned this way. He nodded. Thank you for the truth. Abigail walked out, her heels echoing. At the Omni, she stood by the window. Charlotte's skyline glittering. For the first time, she saw herself without Nathan's shadow. Tears came, raw, angry. For 15 years of devotion traded for lies. A knock startled her. Ryan stood at the door. Exhausted. I didn't know where to go, he said. She let him in. They sat by the window. Two strangers bound by betrayal. How did you stay so calm? He asked. I wasn't calm, she said. I was waiting. They talked. Ryan of Lauren's early support for his dreams. Abigail of Nathan's proposal in the rain. Both had been wrong. I'm filing for divorce, Abigail said. Ryan nodded. I can't live with someone who lies that well. He booked a room down the hall. Pausing at her door. If you need a friend, I'm here, she smiled. Tonight, You understood me better than Nathan ever did. Months later, Abigail thrived in a new apartment. Teaching, photographing sunsets, free from the weight of wife. Ryan became a friend, then more. Their bond built on honesty. One spring evening, by the Little Sugar Creek Greenway, he stopped. Abigail, I'm not rushing you, but if you're ever ready for something real, no secrets, I'm here. She took his hand. I'm not ready for the old kind of love. But this? I've already started. A year after the fig tree, Abigail was no longer the woman who'd lost herself to betrayal. She was Abigail Harper, strong, free, whole. Betrayal had broken her, but it also led to a life built on truth and self-respect. She'd chosen herself, and that was enough. The Austin night was alive with the hum of 6th Street. But inside the private room at Fonda San Miguel, Emily Caldwell, 36, sat poised, her emerald eyes cutting through the dim light. The table, set for 4, held her husband, James Larson, 39, his lover, Megan Walsh, 28, and Megan's husband, Daniel Pierce, 34. The air was thick with unspoken truths. The clink of wineglasses silenced by the weight of betrayal. Emily had just orchestrated a devastating reveal, James and Megan's year-long affair. Exposed in the glow of candlelight. Now, she was done playing the wounded wife. I'm staying at the Driscoll tonight, Emily said, her voice steady as she slid a hotel key across the table. James, I'll be home Monday. You won't be, James. His tech CEO polish crumbling. Stammered, Emily, please, we can fix this. She leaned forward, her auburn hair catching the light. You can't fix a marriage built on lies. You chose Megan over our vows. Now, I choose myself. Megan, tears streaking her mascara, whispered, I'm sorry. Emily turned to Daniel, whose jaw was tight with pain. We deserved the truth, not apologies. She stood, her black dress flowing, and looked at Daniel. I'm sorry you were pulled into this. He nodded, eyes grateful yet hollow. Emily walked out, her heels clicking on the tiled floor, the weight of 14 years lifting with each step. She didn't look back at James, pleading, or Megan, sobbing. At the Driscoll Hotel, she stood by the window, Austin's skyline twinkling like a promise. Alone, she let the tears come, not soft, but raw, a torrent of grief for the life she'd poured into a man who'd traded her for stolen moments. She cried for the late nights waiting, the anniversaries overshadowed by work, the dreams they'd painted under Texas stars. But as the tears dried, something fierce took root, resolve. The next morning, Emily called her sister, her parents, James's best friend, even his startups board. James cheated for a year. She said, not with venom, but clarity. I'm done hiding his lies. She wasn't out for revenge. She refused to live in the shadow of deceit. By noon, she'd contacted a divorce lawyer, filing papers with a signature as steady as her heartbeat. James's texts flooded in, apologies, promises, a frantic voicemail. I'll end it with Megan. I swear. She deleted them. His words were as empty as their marriage. Emily moved out, renting a loft in East Austin. Its exposed brick and skylights a canvas for her new life. She threw herself into teaching at UT Austin, her marketing lectures sparking with passion. She signed up for a photography workshop, capturing Austin's murals and sunsets. Each click a step toward rediscovery. No longer James's wife. She was Emily, vibrant, unapologetic, free. Her phone buzzed often, not with James's pleas, but Daniel's check-ins. He'd left Megan, filing for divorce the same week. How do you keep going? He texted after a rough day. One sunrise at a time. She replied. They met for coffee at Houndstooth. Then weekly walks along Lady Bird Lake. Daniel, a brewery owner with a quiet strength, shared her wounds. They talked of broken promises, James's secret trips with Megan, Megan's lies about girls' nights. But they also shared dreams. Daniel's vision for a sustainable brewery. Emily's hope to publish a photography book. Their bond grew, not from romance, but from survival. You're the only one who gets it, Daniel said one evening, the lake reflecting the city's glow. Emily smiled. We're not broken, Daniel, we're rebuilding. A year later, at a UT faculty gala at the Blanton Museum, Emily, in a sleek navy gown, spotted James across the room. His tailored suit couldn't hide his gaunt frame, the gray at his temples, the absence of his old swagger. He approached, hesitant. "Emily, I owe you a real apology," he said, voice low. "I lost everything, my reputation, my drive." "Megan." She left when the affair went public. Emily met his gaze, calm. "I'm not angry anymore, James. I hope you find peace. But my life's no longer yours." He nodded, stepping back as Daniel appeared, his warm smile a quiet anchor. Daniel and Emily sat together that night, sharing stories with colleagues, their laughter genuine. Later, under the museum's starry ceiling, he took her hand. "Emily, I'm not pushing, but if you ever want to try again, not the old way, but something honest, slow, real, I'm here." She squeezed his hand, her heart lighter than it had been in years. "I'm not ready for grand promises. But this, us, building something true, I'm already in." Emily had learned betrayal wasn't the end, but a brutal pause, a chance to choose better. She'd traded blind love for self-respect, emerging not just a survivor, but a woman who thrived. Her new life, teaching, photographing, laughing with Daniel, wasn't perfect, but it was hers, built on truth. As they left the gala, Austin's lights shimmering, Emily knew she'd closed the past with grace and opened a future where her worth came first. Betrayal had cracked her world, but from those fractures, she'd forged a stronger self, ready for whatever came next.